Hi there, Kirk Euler back with you. Coming to you on a day that the Sacramento Bee has taken yet another swing and a miss. You'll recall back in May, they did an editorial about me, and then in July, they did a fact check when I was the one to point out that there's a difference between hospitalized with COVID and hospitalized because of COVID. And so they had to do their little fact check, and I was right. So the latest attempt is by a young reporter, Hannah Wiley. And Hannah has written a piece entitled Anti-Vaccine Group Helped Placer County COVID Order. I don't know why she feels it necessary to point out the whole anti-vaccine thing. I think she thinks that's somehow going to compromise the integrity of what our board did, but she does. But Hannah, let me just say, I don't care if you're anti-vaccine, if you're anti-circumcision, if you're anti-spontaneous combustion. If you're pro-opening businesses, opening schools, opening churches, welcome to the party. I'm happy to work with those folks. So, in her story, she's pretty down on this group, the Freedom Angels. So I was first exposed, and I told Hannah this, by the way. She doesn't make reference to this in her story, but when Hannah and I spoke, finally, when she reached out to me, when we spoke, I made it very clear to her. I had met the Freedom Angels back in May. They asked me to come speak at a rally they held in Sacramento at the Capitol, a Reopen the State rally, and I went down there. I was one of, 30 speakers, and met a couple of the people down there. Tara Thornton was one of them, and Tara is the one that that she references in this story. And so I met Tara then, and then never spoke to Tara again until a week before, the Saturday before, our board took up the resolution to declare an end to the local health emergency. So we did that on September 8th. So it would have been, well, it was somewhere around the 4th, I want to say, the 5th, September 5th, when I went to speak at an event up in Nevada County. Again, I get asked to speak, 3 or 4 events a month. And so here I am up in Nevada County, and this nice woman comes up and introduces herself and reminds me that we had met in Sacramento in May. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, I recall being at the event, met a lot of people, but Tara Thornton, great to remake your acquaintance. So there I am at the event. I speak to the folks there, and I let them know that on our agenda for the following Tuesday is our resolution to declare an end to our public health emergency. And Tara and a lot of other people get very excited about that, because in Nevada County, they're trying to get their board to engage and open up. And so Tara reaches out to me and asks if she can be of any assistance. And so that's the start of it. I'll get into more detail, but the way this entire story is written is to make you think that I had something to hide. And for instance, Hannah references that she filed a Public Records Act request that she, in a series of text messages, Freedom Angels co-founder Tara Thornton and Euler coordinated when a group's followers should fill the phone lines with approving messages for the proposal, according to documents the Sacramento Bee obtained via a Public Records Act request. Dun, dun, dun. Wow, that sounds pretty sinister. Like I really worked hard to coordinate this with her, and then we tried to get people to jam the phone lines and all that good stuff. And boy, they had to file the Public Record Act request because I was trying to hide things. Let me show you. So here we have the email from County Council to me on September 10th at 2:31. County Council says, Dear Kirk, we received a Public Records Act request, Sacramento Bee, regarding Freedom Angels, blah, blah, blah. I need to respond on or before September 21st. So that was sent on the 10th, and our County Council says I need to respond on or before September 21st. You want to know how hard I tried to hide all this? September 10th at 3:50. She sent it to me at 2:30. Less than an hour and a half later, my communication with Tara was via text. The entire text string is attached. This represents all my written communication with her. So obviously, I'm working really hard because I've got something to hide, right? You want to see what it was. This is what I had to hide. Here it is, Saturday, before the board meeting. She texts me, "This is me, Tara Thornton, Freedom Angels. No communication until Monday evening. Tara here, so wonderful meeting Tammy. Tammy's my wife. Getting to spend time with you both at Eric's. That was the event at which I spoke. Beyond grateful, praying for your item to pass. I couldn't get the agenda to download." She wanted to see the agenda. She wanted to see the resolution. Keep trying the link. There's a couple of friends I'm going to reach out to tomorrow about interviews if it goes through. I'll be there in the morning, but wanted to see if you had any idea what time your item might come up for discussion. So I replied back, "It's a timed item for 10:45. Ooh, a lot of nefarious collusion going on here so far, aren't there, folks? Okay, great. Thank you. That's very helpful. I give her the little thumbs up. And then she walks in at about 9:05 into our board chambers. Board's underway, but it's public comment. And I can see by the look on her face that she's a little confused as to whether or not she should be up there commenting. So I send her a quick text. This is public comment for items not on the agenda. There will be public comment on the resolution when it comes up. Got it, thanks. And then here we go. At some point between 9 o'clock and 10:45, she says, "Would you like us to make public comment? We're just going to live stream, but, if it would helpful, let me know what you think." Here we are. This is our collusion. You can phone comments in. Yes, comments help. So you can see I'm obviously working hard with her to coordinate, to jam the phone lines. This is really my sinister plan, is to overwhelm the system so that we only get commenters in the positive. You can see I'm working really hard at that, right? Yes, comments help. Okay, we can make a post for people to call in. Does public comment start at 10:45? No, that's when the item comes up. Approximately how long do you think the discussion will be? I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. Okay, good, thanks. Still scheduled for 10:45? Well, yep, should be good for 10:45. And then she comments, this is interesting. "We are being told that calls are dropping and not going through to call in to support." So that's it. That's the extent of my sinister collusion with the Freedom Angels to get people to jam the phone line so nobody can get through. And this entire story is written from the perspective that collusion, that extensive collusion you see between me and some person I'd met twice, that's the reason our Board of Supervisors voted to approve the end of our public health emergency, because I was able to dangle my colleagues by my strings and get them to dance to my tune. Me and the Freedom Angels were able to get that done, as this story says. That's, couple of things. Ms. Wiley, first of all, you were able to reach me after you got the documents via the Public Records Act request. You could have just contacted me and asked me for them without having to go to the trouble of filing the Public Records Act request. I just sent it to you. I'm pretty open about this stuff. I don't have much to hide here. So you could have done that. That's number one. Would have saved you a little bit of time. Number two, your assertion that somehow the Freedom Angels convinced the board members to, as you put, downgrade our public health emergency in Placer County. If you'd watched the video of the meeting where we took the action, you'd have seen that the item gets brought up, staff presents it. All five of us make comments before public comment. All five of us make comments pretty strongly indicating how we feel about this resolution. 4 of the 5 of us said, we're in favor of moving forward with this. In one way or another, we said that. Only one supervisor, Jim Holmes, at the front said, I'm not really supportive of moving this forward. He was concerned about losing our CARES Act dollars. After public comment, all 5 of us then voted to do what 4 of the 5 of us had indicated before the public comment we were going to do. Now, to the claim that you make about the phone lines being jammed and therefore people who spoke in opposition didn't have a chance to get through. If you actually watched the video of the board meeting, you'd see there were plenty of people who were in opposition who got through. And yes, there were some of these Freedom Angels people who got through, and there are plenty of county residents who got through, and there were people in our chambers, and people spoke for and against. And you know what? While that particular 3 hours that we devoted to public comment in that hearing might not have captured everyone's opinion, the 2 people who you quote, Lisa Larkin and, I'm trying to remember the other woman's name, Lisa Larkin and Mary Allred, they're no strangers to the Board of Supervisors in our public comment. In fact, since April, we've probably had, and I might be lowballing it here, we probably had 40 hours of public comment on COVID-related items. And believe me when I tell you that Mary Allred and Lisa Larkin have always made their positions very clear. And they've taken advantage of their opportunity to comment in public. And we've heard from them innumerable times. And had they been able to get through this time, I'm sure we would have heard from them what we've heard from them on previous occasions. So, here's my question. I'm really curious, why do a story like this in the first place? Why do a story that just simply goes back and comes up with this conspiracy theory about what the board did instead of the story that's right in front of your nose? Because again, if you actually watched the video of our board hearing, what you would have heard is those people who called in who are in opposition to us lifting the public health emergency were very passionate that if we did this, we were condemning people to die. That we were going to see our hospitals overwhelmed and cases spike and more people, I mean, just bodies in the streets. That's what we were going to see if we did this. Here's the real story, Ms. Hannah Wiley. Here's the real story. This is our cases. These were our case numbers in the week leading up to the board taking that action. Our new cases, we averaged 28 new cases a day up to September 8th. This is when we took the action, September 8th. It's all the new cases that week before. Residents in the hospital, we averaged 11 residents in the hospital, daily average. Our positivity rate, 4.4%. Our cases per 100,000, 5.4%. So there are your numbers. 28 cases, 11 residents in the hospital, positivity of 4.4 cases per 100,000. We're told that if we end the public health emergency, cases spike, everything just goes to hell in a handbasket. Here's the real story. What has actually happened over the past few weeks? Here we are on the 24th. These are the week, or these are the days of the week leading up to today. What happened to our new cases, which was at 28? We're down to 21. That's a 22% decrease in daily new cases. Look at our residents in the hospital. We went from an average of 11 to 5. It's a 59% decrease. Our positivity went from 4.4% positivities in our rate in our tests down to 3.2, a 26% decrease in our positivity rate. And then finally, our cases per 100,000, we were at 5.4 as the average for the week when we ended the state of emergency. We are now down to 3.6, a 33% reduction. We were told if we ended the public health emergency, we might as well kiss the county goodbye. Every single statistic has tracked the way that it was before. I'm not saying that it all of a sudden got all better because we did this. What I'm saying is that our board looked at data that we'd been analyzing for months, and we saw the trends. And we knew that we could safely reopen businesses. We knew that we could safely encourage people to get back together in churches. We knew that we could safely get our kids back into school. And so we, the locally elected officials, being very familiar with the circumstances on the ground locally, we ended the public health emergency that we had declared back in March. We analyzed the data, we made the decision, and it's working out. That's the story, Hannah Wiley.